2021, and it is 6:30 p.m. In an effort to minimize the spread of COVID-19, Governor Newsom issued an executive order that temporarily suspends requirements of the Brown Act. Given this executive order, the Laguna Niguel City Council chambers are closed to the public until further notice. Members of the public are strongly encouraged to observe the City Council meeting live, online, via YouTube live streaming that can be accessed on the city website. Members of the public may submit comments on any agenda item or any item not on the agenda by the email to the city clerk at egomez@cityoflagunaniguel.org. All comments received prior to the deadline will be read into the record up to the time limit of 3 minutes. Any portion of the comment not read aloud due to time restrictions will still be included in the written record. The City of Laguna Niguel thanks you in advance for taking all precautions to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Madam City Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Jennings?
Here.
Councilmember Rains?
Present.
Councilmember Sharma?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Genoway?
Present.
And Mayor Menegar?
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. This is the public communications portion of the agenda for the closed session only. Madam City Clerk, do we have any comments?
No, Mayor, there are none for closed session.
Very good. The public communications is now closed. At this time, I would like to have our City Attorney, Enos, read us into closed session, please.
Thank you, Mayor Menegar and members of the council and audience. The City Council will recess into closed session for one item. The item is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, potential initiation of litigation pursuant to paragraph 4 of subdivision D of Government Code section 54956.9 involving one potential case. That concludes my announcement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now recess to closed session. Are we set?
Yes, we are live.
Very good. Good evening. I would like to call our regular city council meeting back to order at 7:02 p.m. At this time, I would like to ask Council Member Kelly Jennings to provide the invocation, please.
Thank you, Mayor Minigar. If you could bow your heads. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight humbled by the duty you've given us in working on behalf of others. We ask for your guidance and abiding peace in all that we do, and ask that all decisions be made for good and bring honor to your name. Father, we ask for forgiveness from our brokenness and healing and compassion for the things that divide us. Be with our great nation this week as we pray for peace in our homes and communities. For those that are ill, for those that are suffering, and for those in our community that have experienced losses we can only imagine, we ask for you to wrap your healing arms around them and fill them with the warmth of your love. Thank you for the gift of my colleagues on this council, and be with them tonight and always. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Councilmember Kelly Jennings. Now I would like to ask Councilmember Sharma to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
It would be my honor, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. All rise, please. Hand over your heart. Service members and veterans may salute. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you very much. Our next item is public communications. Please be aware that the time limit will be 3 minutes for each public comment. Madam City Clerk Gomez, do you have any public comments to
Yes,
read
ma'am.
for the record?
Yes, I do. I have 4 public comments this evening.
Please proceed.
Thank you. The first one is from John Ulrich, resident. I have been a resident of Laguna Niguel for 16 amazing years. I have seen firsthand how fortunate we are to live in one of the nation's best run cities. Not many cities can match Laguna Niguel's lack of debt, low crime, fiscal responsibility, millions in reserves, and more. City Hall and our new community building were paid in cash. I would challenge any city to meet or beat Laguna Niguel's results. Great leadership has always been the key to success in any organization. During past years, I have enjoyed collaborating with community leaders on community service efforts of every description. The city has been consistent over the years as excellent leadership has been top of the list for success. Fast forward to present day, the city continues to be blessed with amazing leadership in every regard. As we move forward during the COVID-19 and economic crisis, I am confident city leadership is up to the task. We have leaders with years of proven management skills, as Mayor Fred Minigar and Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Genoway watching over our city. Our city is blessed to have their leadership. Our city manager, Tamara Letourneau, is an exceptional professional as she manages our truly amazing city staff to success during these tough times. As we now have reduced revenues and challenges the city has not seen in recent past years, leadership continues to perform. I applaud their excellent efforts and results. I write these comments as an involved city resident and as chair of the Laguna Niguel Chamber of Commerce and several other service organizations in our great city. I do witness through daily interaction the continued success of our city. It has been a true pleasure to partner and collaborate with our city leadership in every regard. You are all true professionals. The next one is from Betty Piquet, resident. I have been a proud resident of Laguna Niguel for 44 years. Being involved with the city from infancy to today has been a rewarding experience in every regard. I understand successful organizations in business and government require one key ingredient. That is exceptional leadership. We have been blessed over all these years as several successful leaders have started their political careers in Laguna Niguel, such as Pat Bates, California State Senator, and now Lori Davies, State Assembly. We can point to so many others who contributed to our city's success, resulting in a nice city environment that every city resident has benefited from. Thanks to them and now our current leadership, Laguna Niguel performs as one of the nation's best-run cities. Laguna Niguel manages our budget well, no debt, rainy day reserves, and more. Public safety remains a high priority, resulting in very low crime rate. We now have a new community building that the city paid for in cash, just as they have in the past with the City Hall building. No one can argue Laguna Niguel does not have excellent leadership managing our city. As we move forward during the COVID-19 and economic crisis, we are now facing dark times. However, I am confident our current city leadership is up to the task. Two proven leaders now are positioned to provide positive direction as they have in the past. Mayor Fred Minigar and Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Genoway now sit in the chair of council leadership. Our city is blessed to have leaders as them, and no doubt both will continue to execute positive change when needed and maintain successful programs as they have in the past. Our city manager, Tamara Letourneau, is an exceptional professional as she manages our amazing city staff to success during these tough times. It has been a tough year as we now have reduced revenues and challenges the city has not seen in recent past years. Even more reason to have professional management in place as Tamara Letourneau. We are blessed to have her as city manager. Writing these comments have given me time to reflect on my 44 years living in Laguna Niguel. We have accomplished much during these past years. I have witnessed our success as one of the founding members of the Chamber of Commerce, 35 years in the real estate industry, 2015 Citizen of the Year, and more. It has been a pleasure to partner and collaborate with our city leadership during these many years. True professionals, and look forward to assisting where I can within our city in the future. Thank you. The next one is from Paul Whitelock, resident. It has come to my attention that there are some concerns as to how city finances are being spent by the city council and administered by the city manager. I have encountered the same complaint since the formation of our city. In all cases, the integrity of both the city council and city management has been upheld. The city consistently operates in a safe manner, under budget, and cognizant of the needs of its employees. The fact that its management has emerged from the COVID-19 restrictions without going into debt, building a new community center, is a testament to their leadership skills. We have a city council, management staff, and workforce that operate well together. As a proactive citizen, I have observed the city operations since our first incorporation and have been impressed by the quality of our leaders and staff. My father was a leader in his community, and he often gave me good advice. One such piece of advice was, always work toward improvement, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the last public comment is from Yvonne Davis, resident. When I became involved with volunteering, I studied the history of our young city. The leadership was and continues to be dedicated to responsible leadership in all areas, financially, safety for citizens and businesses, conservative growth. Many of the past leaders have gone, others have moved forward to become active in our state leadership. For almost a year now, our country, state, and city are in a historical crisis, the pandemic of COVID. This required modifications to everything. I believe our city has been successful in this crisis. Your professional leadership remains consistent during this time. The council, our exceptional city manager, Tamara Letourneau, city staff, and of course, including Sea Country, Senior and Community Center, are so appreciated, and thank you. Everyone looks forward to the end of various lockdowns and the opening of our city. As a senior of Laguna Niguel, I look forward to the day Sea Country Center can be reopened and we can celebrate our 35th anniversary of the Laguna Niguel Senior Citizens Club. And that's all the comments for this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Public communications is now closed. We will now move on to our consent calendar items 1 through 6. let me ask all of my colleagues, are there any items that need to be pulled for comments or discussion at this juncture? I hear none. Can I have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent calendar? There are none, actually, all of the items 1 through 6.
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Can I have a second?
I second.
I will second.
Okay, it was seconded first by Councilmember Sandy Rains. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. That concludes our consent calendar. We will now move on to the discussion item number 1, and that is appointment of council liaisons to city and regional commissions, committees, and boards. I just wanted to have, let me make a correction and amplification. There was one item that I wanted to have a request to modify, and that's in reference to the local military support committee, that I wanted to have a substitution for Council Member Kelly Jennings, that I would replace Council Member Kelly Jennings with Council Member Sharma. If everyone's okay with that, I'd like to move this item. I hear no comments. Oh, Council Member Sandy Rains.
No, I'll second it.
Oh, very good. All right. So it was moved by yours truly, and it was seconded by Council Member Sandy Rains. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that item has been moved and approved unanimously. Our next item is discussion item number 2, and that is resolution number 2021-1350, reaffirming the city's commitment to assisting residents and businesses impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. I wanted to request from our Deputy City Manager, Justin Martin, to provide us with a staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The item for consideration before you is a follow-up to the Healthy Communities Resolution that was first considered by the Council on December 15th of 2020. During the December 15th meeting, the City Council discussed the adoption of the Healthy Communities Resolution that supported local control and support during the COVID-19 pandemic. Consideration of the resolution came on the heels of the County of Orange Board of Supervisors adopting their own Healthy Communities Resolution earlier in December of 2020. Upon discussion of the matter, the City Council directed staff to return to the Council with an updated resolution that was more specific to the City of Laguna Niguel. The requested updated resolution is before you this evening, which displays the city's ongoing commitment, allocation of resources, and actions taken to support both the residential and business communities throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the support provided by the City of Laguna Niguel to residents and businesses includes the allocation of more than $500,000 in funding in the areas of rental assistance, utility assistance, and food subsidies, the allocation of staff support to assist the local business community in the form of economic recovery and navigation of available local, state, and federal grant and loan programs, the expansion of senior citizen-related transportation, wellness checks, and meal programs, the approval of a no-cost temporary use permit for the use of flexible outdoor space to safely conduct business, hosting and promoting food distribution and blood drive events in the community, partnering with the county's 5th District Office to promote and assist with the business grant program totaling approximately $1.6 million, and also partnering with the Laguna Niguel Chamber to fund the Shop and Dine Laguna Niguel campaign. And finally, continuing to provide accurate, timely, and comprehensive public communication and resources related to the pandemic, including implementing safety measures, providing mental health resources, as well as access to testing, and most recently and importantly, vaccinations. Also included in the resolution is the formation of an economic COVID-19 ad hoc committee to ensure that the economic recovery in the city is strong and supported during the pandemic recovery process. With this, staff requests that the City Council consider adoption of resolution number 2021-1350, reaffirming the city's commitment to assisting residents and businesses impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. With this, that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Thank you very much, Deputy City Manager Martin. Before we proceed with the discussions, let me ask our City Clerk, Madam Gomez, do we have any public comments on this item?
No, Mayor, no comments on this item.
Very good. The only quick comment I have is I wanted to make sure that in that paragraph that starts with that is City Council Economic/COVID-19 Ad Hoc Committee will be established on and on. We used and we incorporate the word economic recovery. I wanted to make sure there's a difference between the two at this juncture. We want to be cognizant of the fact that a lot of businesses, a lot of residents are suffering because of COVID-19, so that this would be a City Council economic recovery, not just, economic/COVID-19. Now I want to open it to my City Council colleagues. I start off with Council Member Sharma. Any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I agree with your commentary there regards economic recovery and assistance. The point that Councilmember Rains and I had been really fighting for is the communication of an understanding that the city has gone above and beyond the mandates of the state to help and assist our local residents. And when we talk about local control, this very clearly exemplifies what local control should illustrate and should be about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Sandy Rains.
Okay. Yes, I echo that. And this resolution really exemplifies what our city is about. The continued impact of unfunded mandates that our state continues to send down on us is the reason why we wanted to address this local control issue. Each community must be given the ability to serve its residents based on the needs and assessments of their own residents. And so I'm very pleased, and I thank our staff for the work that they've put into this resolution. They've done an incredibly great job of identifying exactly who we are and what we stand for. And we can continue this kind of work in our city when we're able to have that flexibility and local control. As part of the resolution, one of the things that I wanted to mention is our state has indicated that they have a $34 billion surplus, and yet they're only allocating $34 billion surplus, but only allocating $658 million to businesses for economic recovery. So I know that we have this resolution before us today. I hope we'll vote to pass on it. But one of the things I'd like to ask if our staff could continue to do is if they could maybe gather more data for us as to what exactly that looks like, what the businesses need, and what economic recovery will look like for them. So if we need to do some different things in the upcoming months, we'll know exactly what their needs are. And hopefully my colleagues will agree with that request so that we can get maybe some more communication going with the businesses to get that. And with that, I just want to say thank you again for putting forth this resolution and identifying all of the things that we've done. I know our staff is working diligently right now on making sure that we get our vaccines out and some testing, and I think potentially another food drive. So all of these things are things that show how we care about our community and we serve our community. And I think that's all I have. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Your points are well taken. Let me ask Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Genoway for any potential comments.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you to staff for being so thorough, for listening to the direction from the City Council and making this resolution unique and specific to Laguna Niguel, because Laguna Niguel does it the right way, and this captures what we have been doing. We didn't need anyone to tell us to do this. We have been doing this. So thank you to our tremendous staff for doing it and then for putting it on paper. But these are things that we're doing unique to Laguna Niguel because it is all about local control and being able to meet the needs of your residents and your businesses. So this resolution not only says what we've been doing, but it also says what we are committed to continue doing. And the City Council and the staff stand behind our residents and our businesses, and we are committed to continue
with this effort. So again, thank you, staff, for coming back to us with the resolution just as we had asked. And your continued work on this is appreciated. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Last but certainly not least, Councilmember Kelly Jennings.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is fantastic, and I really appreciate all the work that you guys have done putting this together, staff and City Council. You guys have authorized this before I was here, so thank you for the continued commitment to our community. I wholeheartedly agree. And Councilmember Rains, I agree with you about seeing what the pulse of the community is, what the needs are of our community. So if we can just maybe work with our chamber to see if they know of anything that our businesses are struggling with. I know that there's more money out there. There is another grant from the county, and there's another PPP loan, and there's money coming from the feds. But beyond that, that money will run up too. So if we can just keep a pulse on what our businesses and community needs, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Before we make a motion, I wanted to ask our city manager, Tammy Letourneau, to
Thank
provide
you.
us with some comments and feedback.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we'll be happy. Thank you for all of your comments and appreciate that. We'll be happy to reach out, work with the chamber. We also have our staff economic recovery team that's in contact. We do our weekly newsletter to all of our businesses. So we have a way of, we continue to reach out. We're in constant communication, and we'll ask some very specific questions in the coming days and weeks and gather information. We'll share that with you as soon as we get it.
Very good. If there are no other comments by my colleagues, can I have a motion to approve staff's recommendation, please? Okay, please proceed.
Was there a question? Oh, no, I was just
No.
going to say, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution.
Can I have a second on this?
Do I have to read the resolution thing or no?
I'll second.
And does that motion include the, I think, one word change that the mayor wanted to make in item B? Is that correct?
That is
Yeah.
correct.
As
Just
amended.
the addition
I'll
of the
make
word.
motion as amended by
recovery.
Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. It was moved by Councilmember Sandy Rains, and it was seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Genoway. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Very good. The motion carries unanimously. Our last discussion item is added language to the City Council agenda policy, and I wanted to turn it over to City Manager Letourneau. Please provide us a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. At the December 15th City Council meeting, the council directed staff to add language to the existing City Council agenda policy to clarify how items, including time-sensitive items and urgent matters and emergency items, can be placed on the agenda. There is, like I said, there is a current policy, and it states that the mayor individually or two members of the City Council collectively may request that the city manager place an item on a City Council agenda for discussion and/or action. The city manager shall place such item or items on the agenda and may provide such a preliminary staff analysis or commentary that he or she deem appropriate. However, the city manager shall not allocate substantial staff time or resources to such item or items without direction received from a majority of the City Council at a regular or special meeting. You will see in your, attached to your staff report tonight is that language, and then in red is the proposed additional language, which covers, we are adding 3 categories to be very specific. When a request comes in, when there's no staff report or documentation required, when a request comes in, when there is some brief staff work or some other type of documentation that's needed, and or when there is an emergency or an urgent item as defined by the Brown Act. So we have listed timelines when the city manager needs to be notified and how those would be placed on the agenda. So that concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Before we start our deliberations on this item, I wanted to ask our city clerk, Gomez, do we have any public comments on this item?
No, Mayor, there's no comments for this item.
Very good. I wanted to start off by asking Councilmember Sharma on the top of my Zoom screen to start the comments.
It clearly does not go in alphabetical order, right?
That's right.
I actually have no comments on this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Councilmember Kelly Jennings, please.
No comments.
Councilmember Sandy Rains,
I just have a quick question, clarification.
please.
City Manager Letourneau, on the agenda item request for no staff report or documentation required. In this request, it says that the 2 members of the City Council collectively request to be listed on the City Council agenda. Let me ask, it says that's if we want to have a staff, but what if a City Council member, this is one of the questions I have, wanted to have an updated report from an ad hoc committee about like some of the work or anything that they had done. Sometimes it seems like with the new economic recovery COVID-19 edition, it'd be nice if we could have like maybe even a quarterly report of what's going on or something so that we understand. Would that be something that they could request, or could just a City Council member request something like that? Is there any allocation where that could be a request just for a staff update?
What we've done in the past is usually we list when it's time for an update. The staff member who staffs that committee usually lets me know, and we put it list it separately under City Council reports.
Okay.
Just that committee title, and then when we get under City Council reports, then there's a specific report given. So there is a process for that.
Okay. So that would be different than
that's a separate thing, and it has its own process. We just haven't had a lot of those in the last year because of COVID. But
what if there's an ad hoc committee with our council colleagues where they could bring a report? If you hadn't had a report from them, would there be a request process from one council member? Would we have both of them? Or I guess you could just ask the ad hoc committee member if they could bring an update. Would that be appropriate?
Yes, you can do that under your reports. You can say, I'd like to have an update from X committee, but usually the process when we're having those regular ad hoc meetings, then it's about once a quarter, unless there's some urgent item that we need to bring to the council's attention, we'll put it on there sooner. So.
Okay, well, that'd be great. Hopefully we'll have some of those meetings and hear some updates because it is meant for this year. Yeah. So thank you so much for putting all the work into this. I appreciate it. And it's very concise now, so we have a lot of options and it makes it really easy to navigate.
Very good. Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Genoway.
No comment. Thank you, staff, for further, adding the language so that it's very clearly understood. I appreciate the work you put into it.
Yeah, on behalf of the entire City Council, I wanted to thank our City Manager, Tammy Letourneau, for preparing this, and it's great. It's outstanding. Laguna Niguel is a very unique city, and we want to rise and shine during the COVID-19 pandemic to help residents and businesses. With that said, can I have a motion to approve staff's recommendation, please?
I so move.
To approve. Oh.
Okay, it was moved by Councilmember Sharma and it was seconded by?
I'll second.
By Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Genoway. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously. Well, thank you. This concludes our discussion items. So we will now move on to council reports and city manager report. I wanted to start off now. I do the opposite with Councilmember Sandy Rains.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Menegar. It's nice to know that we're moving through and making progress, and it's the new year already. Anyhow, I was recently appointed to the Transportation, Communication, and Public Works League of California Cities Committee, and we had our first meeting, so I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on that. The top 4 issues for 2021 that we'll be focusing on as far as policy goes is protecting our SB1 revenues, closing the broadband divide, and infrastructure resiliency, and as well as small cell issues. I'm very happy to hear about the broadband and small cell issues because I think many of our residents have had issues regarding that. So those will be the areas of focus that we're working on to look at legislation that can help us to get those things accomplished in our city. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that I was also appointed to the OCTA SNAC this year, and that is the committee that looks at transportation for special needs and seniors. So I just wanted to let our community know that if you have special needs and you need transportation, or you're a senior, I think we do a great job here in Laguna Niguel, but if you ever have any issues, please reach out to me so that I can relay that information to the committee and pass it on to OCTA for other solutions that we could look at. And I want to welcome our new Chief of Police. I see Virgil, Chief Virgil Asuncion on there. So welcome and thank you. Hopefully it will be in person where we can actually recognize you and hear more from you. But I just wanted to say welcome to our team, and we're glad to have you. And with that, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kelly Jennings.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Since this is our first formal meeting of this year, I want to wish everyone in Laguna Niguel a very happy new year. We began the year with so much excitement about finally being able to move from the many and profound difficulties visited on the world in 2020. But more than anything, we wanted and needed something more, something that felt familiar, something that brought us closer to whatever normal was. One of our greatest attributes in Laguna Niguel is our dedication to a more productive form of civil discourse. We have long had the ability to find a way to approach and engage with each other on even often difficult issues that avoids the temptation of exasperating when troubled circumstances. I'm committed in this job of doing just that, and I want all of our residents to feel free to share their thoughts and priorities, knowing that we have the ability to entertain complex, often different thoughts from our own without resorting to blame or accusations or malice. This has never been more needed. While we can all put together our own list of things that divide us, we must focus rather on the things that unite us, that give us purpose, that give us hope, that give us the change on to continuing doing the work of the people and connecting with them in a way that makes them known as they are part of something special, and that we are working together as a city for the benefit of our neighbors, both known and unknown. At the national level, there are, of course, many things for us to focus on. As a city, we monitor those things that incorporate them whenever we're needed. But in truth, our mission here is to ensure that we're taking care of our residents' health through any and all resources, to keep our businesses open and strong, and importantly, making sure that our residents know with certainty that their city government is secure and working to ensure they are safe and financially secure. As such, whatever comes our way, I am proud to serve with my council colleagues in ensuring Laguna Niguel remains strong. Our waters indeed run extremely deep, and we're well suited to handle all that is to come. And I would like to congratulate my girlfriend who gave birth to a beautiful baby girl today, and welcome Chief Asuncion. We're so happy to have you, and you have big shoes to fill with Chief McDaniel, but we are so happy to have you, and I know your heart is here. So thank you for everything that you are giving. Okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Sharma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to acknowledge the staff for continuing to make my transition onto the City Council a smooth one and a welcoming one. So thank you very much for all your attention detail. Sitting on this side of this desk tonight, but the council chamber desks, is a unique and very special experience. And what I've come to learn is sitting in the audience is one thing when you're able to watch and see what's going on and what your interpretation of events and occurrences are. But sitting on this side, it is indeed a group of individuals, both my fellow council members and the city staff, who apply a lot of thought, introspection, and care, but most importantly, follow through on every activity that they engage in. And I want to, again, acknowledge you for doing that. We recently, for the most part, completed our city interviews for appointments to the different commissions and activities in the community. I think we had a record 5.5 hours, something like that. It was quite some journey, but we I feel strongly that we have very qualified individuals. I want to thank everybody in the community who volunteered. I'll be the first to admit that the first time I applied, I was not accepted to a position. But look at me now. So I want to thank everybody who did apply, and I look forward to working with those who were appointed, and I look forward to a great 2021. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Elaine Genoway.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Tuesday night, for Junior Civic Workshop, we had Judge Matthew Anderson and Deputy Cesar Cisneros as our guest speakers. They talked to the middle school students about drugs, drug court, how to get help if you feel that you need it. Very impactful talk for our middle school students. And I know it's one that they, or maybe I should say the parents, look forward to every year. And thank you to Councilmember Jennings for coming and starting the workshop with the Pledge of Allegiance for the students. Today, I attended the League of California Cities Economic Recovery Roundtable. There were cities from throughout the state discuss what we're doing to for our business communities that have been so severely impacted by COVID. And the array of solutions is a perfect example of why local control is so important. The challenges and appropriate resolutions are unique to different communities. In Laguna Niguel, we're fortunate that our main revenue source for the city is relatively stable because we're not as dependent on other more volatile revenues than other cities, where our main source of revenue is property tax, where other cities are very dependent on sales tax, on hotel tax, on restaurants with the tourism. So each city has a little different mix on what their revenues, the source of revenues are. So we are fortunate here, but it is something that we do need to watch, and that is why we do what's appropriate for Laguna Niguel, and we respond in that manner. So that's why local control is so important. Some of the things that I was hearing today, like that would not fly in our city, but it was appropriate for other cities. So again, we have a very diverse state, and that's why we need to, when you hear every single one of your council members talking about local control, that's what we need. We need to be able to find the solutions that are appropriate for our city. Councilmember Sharma mentioned the interviews that we had last week. I'd like to say we had many more applicants than we had available spots. And I want to thank our Laguna Niguel residents for your commitment to our community, because you are what makes Laguna Niguel so remarkable. And welcome, Captain Ascension. Our community is just so looking forward to meeting you. So thank you, and thank you, Mayor Minigar.
Thank you very much. This morning, the Laguna Niguel Chamber of Commerce installed their 2021 Board of Directors, and I had the honor of issuing their oaths of office. The Chamber drew the winners of the Shop and Dine Laguna Niguel contest, and this year the Chamber added weekly winners with a drawing each Monday to select someone to receive a gift card from one of our merchants and restaurants in Laguna Niguel, and there were 1,138 separate entries with purchases from Laguna Niguel merchants and restaurants totaling in excess of $52,000 and averaging over $47 per purchase. Here are the winners. Everybody's been waiting so anxiously. Crystal Kasab with $250, John Kenny with $500, and Debbie Seton with $1,000. Congratulations to all the winners. With regard to Southern California Association of Governments, I attended the regional council meeting, and one of the hottest issues obviously happened to be the RHNA numbers, or regional housing needs assessment. And to bring you up to date, there are 51 appeals being filed by 48 jurisdictions in Southern California. Southern California Association of Governments is comprised of 6 counties and 191 cities. The majority of those jurisdictions happen to be mostly from Los Angeles and Orange counties. Now, we have started having our subcommittees being chaired by Mayor of Yorba Linda, Peggy Wong, to conduct those appeals. We had some. They are moving on with the hearings. And this is the bottom line. Once they finalize their reviews and they hear all the comments from jurisdictions and their legal counsels, then they are going to bring it back to the regional council. And we are going to be voting on that as a region, because we are obligated by the laws in the state of California that we have to finalize the adaptation of RENA numbers in March 2021. What does it mean to us, i.e. City of Laguna Niguel as a municipal corporation? It's very simple. If, it's a conditional statement, if they decide at the end of the public hearings for those appeals that they are going to be granting those cities with the new numbers that they are requesting, that the potential negative ramification of that would be for a city such as Laguna Niguel, for our numbers that may go up. So we are in a kind of, we are not, obviously we have not submitted any of those appeals, but that's, we don't know yet. It's dynamic at this juncture. I cannot say which way they're going to go, because they have to complete and conclude their hearings. And then once I hear it from the subcommittee, then hopefully I can talk to my colleagues to take a position on that. And then once I go on behalf of the city and on behalf of all the South Coast coastal cities of Orange County, then I can echo their voices there. Density is the big issue. As you know, the bottom line is that number, how these cities such as Newport Beach, such as Beverly Hills in Los Angeles County, are going to be suffering tremendously because of the new numbers. So again, that remains to be seen. I don't want to have any kind of prejudgment at this juncture. So I reserve that until we hear the numbers. Another one, good news is that Southern California Association of Governments, SCAG, is creating a regional database, which is going to be under the SCAG RTP, Regional Transportation Programs Plans webpage. And it is going to be free to all the agencies, so we can take advantage of that to reduce the cost of planning, the cost of computer modeling, the cost of demand forecasting. So we as a city, we can take full advantage of the research and the databases that other cities have been providing and will provide SCAG, so we can use it to our advantage. And for the first time, by the way, with regard to the digital divide, for the first time, San Diego County, which is a part of SANDAG, San Diego Association of Governments, has teamed up with SCAG. So San Diego County is going to be with us with regard to sharing of that database, which is outstanding. With that said, there's a lot of movements in Sacramento by Governor Newsom, and he is considering to introduce a bill that he's going to be allocating $4.3 million to establish a watchdog agency in Sacramento to do only one thing: to review city council meetings of 484 cities, planning commissions of the same cities, and to see that how all these individual cities would be allocating and enforcing the new RENA numbers. I'm personally against it. I think we can use the taxpayers' money in a much more productive way, rather than creating another new governmental agency to do nothing but just to sit and watch our city council meetings to see how we are going to be potentially debating and coming up with our RENA numbers, how we're going to enforce it, how we are going to be allocating affordable housing units and what have you. I think that money can be used in a lot of other avenues. I'll be talking to our city manager to see that if we can draft up a resolution on that, and then we are going to bring it back to the city council for discussions and hopefully for the approval of that. Last week, we had a virtual grand opening of Oso Parkway Bridge on behalf of transportation corridor agencies and along with 25 of my board colleagues. We had a big grand opening. That means more mobility is coming to South Orange County. And that bridge is located in city of Mission Viejo, and it's a very good access point. Now is going to be reducing delays and the number of stops on Oso Parkway for our residents along with other residents. Last 2 weeks, I had a meeting with Assemblywoman Laura Friedman. She's the new lady in charge of the state of California, in charge of the Transportation Committee in the state. And it was a very productive meeting and very productive discussion. One of the things that I got extremely interested is that she's the former council member from the city of Glendale, that she's planning to bring up a new bill that potentially would allow cities to control their speeds. I'm talking about roadway speeds, which is a very technical, legal issue with every city in California. So I'm very hopeful that we can move in that direction so that somehow we can modify the laws in the state of California. That remains to be seen, but she's working on that. And then let's see what else we have. With regard to the economic trends in California, what is happening is that, let me start off with the socioeconomic facts in Southern California. We got a full report, and during the months of December of last year and January of this year, there are a lot of companies that are moving from the state of California, more specifically Oracle, Hewlett-Packard, Enterprise, and Tesla. Either they have moved or they are planning to move. There are a lot of retirees and there are a lot of younger people that are moving to Texas, Montana, and Florida because of two factors, two main reasons. Number one, the high taxations in the state of California, and number two, because of the high cost of living. With regard to the interest rates, according to the experts that briefed us, because of the anticipated borrowing of the federal government in trillions of dollars, it would be inevitable. The interest rates are potentially going to go up. And also because of the pandemic, as you know, the federal government, along with the state agencies, are allocating funding to a lot of cities. So therefore, it would be inevitable. And unfortunately, in the retail business, the good is doing good and the bad is doing worse. And with regard to the apartment occupancy, it's been up and it's going to go higher in the upcoming months. And the office occupancy in Southern California has been terrible. The real estate is very strong, and it's because of the shortage of vacant lots, and the prices are going up. According to the experts, the density is going to be the game. And if there are any soft lands, if there are going to be any inland activities, it's going to be moving in that direction. And the experts are saying that 2021 is going to be better, but not a lot better than 2020. And the job losses, according to the experts, are going to be mostly permanent. And the movement in the high tech would be in robotics and AI, which is artificial intelligence. That concludes my reports. I wanted to turn it over to our city manager, Tammy Letourneau.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few updates this evening, but first I'd like to turn it over to City Attorney Ennis for an update on the Thanksgiving Day investigation.
Thank you, City Manager Letourneau, and members of the council and the audience. As you know, my office has been working with city staff to investigate the Healthy American Thanksgiving Day event in Crown Valley Park. We have concluded our investigation. The event occurred on Thursday, November 26, 2020, in the amphitheater and surrounding grass area of Crown Valley Park in the city. Peggy Hall, the founder of Healthy American, organized the event. Tickets for the event were sold on the Healthy Americans webpage. The event's location listed on the webpage for ticket sales was, quote, outdoor park in South Orange County, unquote. The webpage stated that the exact park location would be sent 24 hours before the event for security reasons. The event was scheduled to occur from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. On the date of the event, over 200 people attended. Event attendees were not social distancing or wearing masks. The event was not permitted and not authorized by the city. No application or request for city approval of the event were submitted to the city. Neither city management nor any city employees were aware of the event until the day after it occurred. We are forwarding the results of our investigation to appropriate enforcement authorities for their further review and potential enforcement action. When is here, there are violations of state COVID orders. The appropriate authorities, violation of those state orders and laws, are the Orange County District Attorney and applicable state agencies. So we will be forwarding the results of our investigation to those entities for their further investigation and enforcement. And this concludes the summary of our investigation. Thank you. And one other matter, if I might, Mayor, is that I'd like to report out the results of our closed session at 6:30 p.m. There was a closed session held by the City Council on one item. Conference of Legal Counsel anticipated litigation involving one case, and there is no final and reportable action on that matter. And that concludes my announcements. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Back
you.
to City Manager Letourneau.
Thank you. A few more updates. First, the city is working closely with the county, state, and federal government in regard to the COVID-19 vaccination locations. On Wednesday, January 13th, the county's first super point of distribution site, otherwise known as a super pod location, was opened at Disneyland. In the coming weeks, additional pods will be open throughout the county. In addition to healthcare workers and first responders, residents 65 years and older are eligible to receive the vaccine now. Anyone interested in being vaccinated should go to the county's website, Othena, OTHENA.com, to register to make an appointment. Athena is also available on smartphones and mobile devices. However, due to a very high demand for appointments and a limited number of vaccines, appointments are limited, so please be patient. And appointments do come open at various times during the day, so we just encourage everyone to continue to check back. And I know if everybody wants one right away, and everybody who wants one will get one. It just will take a little bit of time. In the coming weeks, there will also be hopefully additional sites located all throughout the county, including Laguna Niguel. And we are going to continue to keep everyone updated using our website, our social media, senior phone banks, distributing flyers, and every other means possible to let everyone in the community know when appointments are available and how they can get a vaccine if they want one. The other update is our Family Assistance Ministries, FAM, in partnership with the city, is hosting a food distribution event on Thursday, January 28th from 1 to 3 at the Laguna Niguel Presbyterian Church. If anyone is interested, for more information, please contact Family Assistance Ministries at 949-492-8477 for more information. And the city also, in partnership with the Red Cross, is hosting another blood drive and COVID-19 antibody testing clinic on Tuesday, February 16th at Crown Valley Park. The mobile bloodmobile will be parked on site, and appointments can be made by contacting redcrossblood.org. And you can enter the sponsor code CITYLN on the website to make an appointment. And that concludes my reports, Mayor Minigar.
Thank you very much, Madam City Manager, for your comprehensive update specifically with regard to COVID-19. Well, it is with great sadness that I share with you that former Sheriff Sandra Hutchins passed away on January 4, 2021, after fighting cancer bravely and courageously. Sheriff Hutchins was the county's 12th Orange County Sheriff, serving from 2008 to 2019. She was an outstanding leader and true public servant with an impeccable work ethic. Her commitment to the department and the entire Orange County community was unwavering. On behalf of the Laguna Niguel City Council, we adjourn this meeting tonight in her memory, wishing her family and loved ones our prayers and deepest sympathy. Well, the regular City Council meeting is now adjourned at 8:58. Thank you and stay safe and healthy.